Hello and welcome back to my channel, Emily's Creative Life. In this video I'll be showing you a Christmas card I made using a partial die cut inlay technique. So let's get into it. Here I am using some blue painter's tape to mask off a triangle on a piece of Cougar 110 pound bright white cardstock, cut down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch. I am using that painter's tape to mask off a triangle. I will be ink blending that triangle to make it look like a Christmas tree using Distress inks. I repositioned that piece of tape because I didn't like where I had it placed originally. So I will be using my blending brush, and this first color is Cracked Pistachio. I will put that at the base of the tree, and then I will be using Evergreen Bough in the middle, and then my darkest color is Pine Needles. So I start with that Cracked Pistachio and then put in the Evergreen Bough, and then go back to Cracked Pistachio to try to blend that a little better, and then use the Pine Needles up at the very top to darken that color. I just wanted to see if I could get those two colors to blend a little bit better there at the base. So then when I've finished with that, I go ahead and clean my brush off, and then I will grab that Cracked Pistachio again and try to blend that out a little bit more. I still wasn't quite happy with the blend that I got. So I will remove that painter's tape, and you can see I went out of the line, or outside of that painter's tape just a little bit, but that's okay. I won't be using the part outside of the triangle. And here I'm using that WYSE diamond background die. I have been loving this die lately. It's been a lot of fun to use. And I'm using some iCraft purple tape to secure that down to that piece of paper so I can run it through my Sizzix Big Kick machine. When I've finished with that, I'm using some Glad Press and Seal wrap. This is the holiday edition, not that that matters, but that's what I have on hand. So I go ahead and push that to the back of that piece of paper to keep all of those little bits and pieces intact. And then I use some more of that Cougar bright white 110 pound cardstock and die cut another panel with that same paper, or that same die, and then I will be using this for that partial inlay. I am also using that same Cougar cardstock to create a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch note card, side folding note card, and I'm using my EK Tools scoring board to score that, and my Teflon bone folder to crease it. Here I'm using that purple tape again to temporarily hold that die cut panel down on the card base, just to make the inlay technique a little bit easier. And then I will be using my EK Tools tweezers to pick up those little pieces, and some Tombow mono liquid glue to adhere them down. And I will just start at the bottom of the tree, and I counted up to make sure that I placed it in the correct spot. And I'm only removing those bits that have the green on it. And I'm just working from the bottom up to the very top of the tree. Another way that you could use this technique, or not this technique, but get the same look, is to ink blend that triangle on the card base and then adhere the die cut panel over top of it. You'd get the same kind of look. There just wouldn't be that dimension with it. So these, like I said, I'm using that Tombow mono liquid glue to adhere it flat to the card base. And then I will be popping up that die cut panel using some foam. So I'm removing that from the card panel or card base, and then I added some foam tape to the border of this die cut panel, and then I go ahead and adhere that down to the card base, lining it up with the tree to make sure that those pieces fit where they were supposed to. And then I'm using my Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen to add some shimmer to the tree. And here you can see a little bit of that shine that gives. And then I will be using this sentiment from Emicards Christmas Tree Builder stamp set, just the Merry Christmas. I am treating that with my anti-static powder tool and using some Versamark ink to stamp that down. And I will heat emboss that in the Ranger silver embossing powder using my Wagner heat gun. I just wanted to use the little scrap of paper left over from that ink blended panel. So when that has been all melted, then I go ahead and use my Tonic guillotine paper trimmer to trim that down into a thin sentiment strip. And then I will pop that up on foam tape and adhere that over top of the Christmas tree using my T-square ruler and those EK Tools tweezers to make sure that I have it lined up nice and straight. So here is the finished card. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you liked this video, and tap that notification bell so you never miss a video. And thanks so much for watching. See you next time.